Slima, everyone, welcome. Today is June 11th, I believe. That's what it's telling me. And I'm here with my fabulous co-host, the one, the only, Niki Tenn of revolutionastrology.com, and also the president of the International Sidereal Astrology Association. I am the other co-host, Abbey Quinn. You can find all my information at SumerianAstrology.com, which is right here. So in case you forget, it's right there. All our information is going to be in the video description. Yes, today's very exciting. We have the full moon today. We're right on the full moon, as a matter of fact. And it is also a major lunar standstill. So in short, if you're not familiar, basically the moon is going to be rising at its most southerly point. Yeah, that's English. For the next 18 and a half years or something like that. It won't rise this far south again, which I knew I wasn't going to be able to catch it tonight. So we tried last night to go to the biggest Ferris wheel in the city. And it was to, see if we could catch it a day early. And it was overcast just in that area of the sky. So there was no seeing it, but yeah, otherwise it was good weather and whatnot. So if you can take a look at it, it'll be happening now here if you're here in Russia, which I know you're not, but in a few hours later on today your time, definitely check that out because it's a once in a 18-year thing. So why not? Why not do that?
Yeah. I'm in Wisconsin and it was cloudy and I passed out pretty early, so okay. I forgot to go look.
We can try again tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to try again tonight. I caught it the other day when the sky was clear, but we've had a lot of rain and a lot of
it's clouds. Wisconsin.
And now we have a lot of yucky sky stuff happening because of the wildfires. So
yeah,
it gets really hazy and the air quality has been just absolutely terrible. So
did you see those videos mostly on TikTok, it seems, of people looking at the sun through the haze and they're like, oh my God, it's a planet. It's, what is that? The sun,
yeah,
actually, the sun's over
it
here.
What was it? Last summer, it popped up on a memory of mine, and I had caught a picture of the sun, and it was hazy and weird. It looked fake. It looked like an alternate. We were in some alternate reality. That was a weird day. That was a really weird day. So it kind of fed into the whole alternate reality stories.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, wildfires. I didn't think they would be affecting us here, but it seems like everything's a little nuts now. Everything's going a little crazy. We got wildfires, we got riots, we've got I don't know what else. This goes on and on.
Yeah.
There hasn't been any tornadoes, right?
I don't know. Have there not been?
I don't know. You know what? Actually, I've been trying to just not watch the news.
Yeah, that's probably
I'm trying to just not to. Yeah, so I don't really know what's going on unless I see it on doom scroll or somebody comes into the store and tells me. I had no idea there were riots going on. I was like, wow, I knew something was up. And then you look at the alignments and you're like, okay, something's up, but you can't pinpoint specifically where people get pissed off.
Sure, in the United States maybe, but it doesn't everywhere. So people,
exactly,
astrologers on the internet, and I guess we fall into that category too. They don't seem to take that into consideration most of the time. They just assume whatever country they're in, that's what the sky is talking about, and
Well, the tropical has this thing going on where Saturn is in Aries. And I just read a few sentences of, this astrologer was posting about, and we're having all of these issues and problems in the world because Saturn moved into Aries, and that's wartime or whatever. And I was like, anything, you'll do anything but look up. You'll literally do anything but look where the hell shit is. Oh, excuse me. Just stuff is in the sky. And I got incredibly frustrated because it's we going to spin this story? Like, and I guess it's because I've been studying, the nodes. I've been watching the planets. I've been looking at history, and we're just in a really like badass karmic like crossroads right now collectively. I mean, we have two hardcore players like Saturn and Neptune hooking up in Pisces. Okay. And they're still there. They're still in the very beginning-ish degrees of Pisces. They're really in there. Okay. It's not Aries. And yeah. And they're still working with the energies of the North Node. And, there's a lot of realignments, happening, a lot of structural breakdowns, and a lot of ideas about spirituality and what people are really like, what do I really believe in? And there's all sorts of crazy, stories flying around about that. Is it a matrix? I mean,
I got a bunch more nasty comments on Ola, that video we did, the interview we did with Ola Walny, who, if you guys don't know, thinks everything's a matrix and the moon sucks your soul or something. I don't know. But I was like,
I thought that was over.
I get comments from them all the time. Still, people, I said something, they were like, you just don't see the truth of, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I think you guys are all in a cult. And they basically agreed and were like, you're just jealous because you're not in the cult. I'm like, okay, whatever.
Okay. Yeah, I can't wait to spend a lot of money to get nothing in return.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's so awesome.
Right.
Doesn't fulfill me spiritually at all.
Right.
But I don't get that whole thing, but I've never been
I don't know either.
Follow cult leaders. But I don't know. I've never met anybody that I was like, oh yeah, that's the person I'm going to follow. I always like look at people suspiciously, like, it's just my nature. I'm like, until I can, scratch the surface a little bit. I don't throw all my trust into somebody.
Me neither.
Especially somebody in a position of authority. It's kind of sad that the theme has always been abuse of power. I mean, and anybody and that's Pantera growing up.
Human nature to an extent, like you.
Oh, definitely. I mean, we're pattern people. We recognize the patterns, so it's not hard to see one from like a million miles away. Yeah. I'm shocked. We're still getting comments on it.
Yeah. Yep. Well, people
struck
look
a nerve
and it comes up. Yeah, they get upset.
Well, I do get upset about it because I think it's complete and total bullshit to tell somebody the things that she tells them. But then again, we've heard lots of stories about other astrologers making assumptions and claims that were just absolutely outrageous. So
yes,
it's
it
not
happens
like
all the time.
It does. It's not like it's anything new, but no industry is immune to it. But you're right. Yeah, the whole Saturn and Neptune North Node thing is definitely realigning people. And, it's kind of to this point where, you're either going to lock into what, reality is and the truth of the matter of things are, or you're just going to continue to cling to like chaos and collapse. It's just kind of weird, the patterns that people choose, but like I was saying, we're at like this karmic crossroad, and it's pretty cool, and it's pretty I think it's pretty cool. I don't know. This full moon though, I was just telling you this before we got started. I was like, oh, I'll save it for the show, because I really do feel like I am like a star on the Truman Show in some weird universe somewhere, because I say this and I'll be like, it's okay. These alignments are happening. I'm safe. I don't have to worry about anything. And I literally said that. And I said it out loud. I even told my boss, I'm like, yeah, this has like been really okay. And then all the weird stuff happened. And within like a hour and a half period, it was just jam packed with craziness, insanity. So I got a phone call from a guy who wanted to just ask me questions. And he sounded like a little literal actor, you know, on the phone. And I
like a private investigator or something?
I don't know. He sounded like a radio show host, you know,
like,
and I know, and I'm just answering his questions the best I can. And he just all of a sudden snaps and starts freaking out on me. And I'm like, well, like, is there anything else I can help you with? Because it sounds like you need help. And his voice got all deep and he literally sounded like he was trying to be like Pennywise the clown or something. And he's like, you're all fake. And he just starts screaming all this crazy shit at me. And I'm like, I'm remembering what I just said. So I'm laughing at him. And I'm like, all right, have a great day. Sounds like, you know, you need to have one. So, you know, good luck. And I hung up. And I laughed because I've never been like trolled like that on the phone before.
Do you think that's what it was? When was this?
Well, this just happened yesterday. And it was, no, and then he went on Google and wrote a terrible review and
For what?
On Google. I don't really know because I was like, well, I
mean a review for the business.
Oh, for my store. Yeah, the
okay.
business. And it was a nasty review. And he'd never been there before. He doesn't even live in our city, actually.
Yeah.
It was like, well, you're dumb because you used your real phone number to call me. Now I know everything about you. We were able to find his Facebook, who his wife is, his dog's missing. We know where he lives. We know everything. I was like, oh wow.
Okay.
You're dumb. And then the owner got involved somehow and called him up and had a confrontation with this guy. He's like I think he's a failed grower who lives somewhere and he just can't stand like life right now. So he was making his rounds, calling places and freaking out. And I was like, oh, wow, full moon stuff. Then somebody tried to hack all my socials, my Apple ID, everything.
Oh, no.
So I got all these crazy notifications. You know, you need to redo all your passwords. You need to do all this. I was like, wow. And then as I'm leaving for the day, and that's not even it. I'm just going to wrap this long story up. But as I'm leaving for the day, I almost walk into a spider that's come down from the freaking, and it's like right there in my face. I'm like, ah! So yeah, full moon.
I had a dream about that last night. What did the spider look like?
It was this little baby spider. I mean, it wasn't scary, but he sat there and it was like brown.
Oh, okay.
Looking like the alien, like with all of his arms out, like looking at me. And we had a little stare off. Tried to take a picture, but I couldn't get my phone to work. I couldn't get my phone to like focus. So I was like, I'm going to hermit. I'm going to hermit today. You're not going to hear from me or see me. I may do a few little posts, but I am definitely crawling under a rock the next couple
And you think it's the nodes?
I don't really know what it is. I'm going to shut up and not say that I'm safe anymore.
Okay.
You know, I just think it's that. I really think the universe hears you and is like, oh, is that a, you know, I don't know, is that
a challenge?
Challenge, yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
I'm all caffeinated now and like shaky because I'm like,
yeah,
it was crazy.
We had a great day yesterday. I went out with my daughter. We went hiking and then what else? We went to like a bunch of different parks. I figured out how to ride the electric scooters. So instead of because we took the bus out there to the woods and it was a nightmare because it was like 80 degrees, which I'm sure for normal people is not hot, but that's like maxing out on the heat level here. So it was way too hot. But so we figured out the scooter and it was so much fun. We drove around all day and did all kinds of cool stuff. But what's weird is I got home and I could barely get my key in the door. And by some divine miracle, I was able to get the door open. The key was unusable after that, or like the lock was unusable. I called my ex-husband. I'm like, have you been in the house today? He's like, yeah, I was there a little bit. I'm like, was the key acting normally? He's like, yeah, it was fine. I'm like, I think my first impression was somebody tried to get in my house. Somebody like was messing because this is bizarre, you know? And Alice was freaking out. She was like, she's like, oh my God, but she was exhausted too. It was like midnight, you know?
Yeah, tired.
And, we went through the house and like looked around and stuff. I don't think anybody actually got in, but my lock is destroyed. So fortunately there's like another lock that we can use, but it was really creepy and weird. And even the inside lock, like you can tell somebody really had to mess with it in order to break it like that.
That is crazy. Someone tried to break into your house. Someone tried to break into all my accounts.
Yeah. I wonder what that's about. I think now this I wouldn't attribute to anything in particular going on in the sky. At least not generally. But we do have a lot of similar placements. It could be that this is like individual transit. So, and I say this for anybody watching, like just because the transits affect everybody differently, and your individual natal chart is going to make that difference. So, you don't necessarily want to just go based on that's why these types of forecasts have to be so general, because it's not comparing anybody's chart. It's just literally planet Earth, what's going on. And obviously that stuff is very, like the specifics are very individual to certain people.
Yeah, you're right. I know last week somebody had asked, well, if I don't have planets in a constellation, I mean, does it still affect me? And I thought about that a lot, and how, and how to really answer that. And each constellation has like a ruler, whether you like the modern rulerships or not. I mean, those planets are always affecting everything. I mean, it's just as, it's so hard to explain, like this orchestra, this music happening at all times. And it's always, flowing and talking and moving. And even when planets don't seem as if they're in aspect, they're still in a cycle. They're still, aspecting within a cycle too. So, I mean, it sounds like a lot. It's hard to break it all down. But we do our best to try to read for the entire collective. I mean, you gotta take what,
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no,
I lost you. I killed your thought. I was going to say, like, what do you got for the full moon? What do you think? What are we looking at?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, I mean, the full moon, so we're in like this like halfway point of the eclipse. So, things can get obviously intense, but probably more on the emotional side. I mean, I'm not sure how this is showing up for a lot of other people, if it's showing up as actual, outside of your control type of things. But I mean, mostly I would say it's kind of an internal thing. This full moon is in Ophiuchus. It's squaring its own nodes. We have a opposition going on with, obviously the sun. I think Jupiter's involved. So, I mean, that's like a big karmic crossroads. There's a lot of information coming in, and what is true. I mean, we have to figure that out for ourselves. So, you may feel a lot of pressure to like make a choice, or, take responsibility for your like emotional patterns that have, held you hostage, because there could be a lot of unresolved emotional baggage. There could be a lot of things that you need to, confront and let go. I mean, Ophiuchus is really connected. It's still connected to Scorpio. I mean, I kind of read them as the same. It's just like the last of that constellation where you can kind of more or less find the healing, and the medicine in the pain, because like Scorpio processes are tough, transformation isn't always a beautiful and amazing thing. Sometimes it's messy and gross, and it's just part of the journey, Let's see. So we have like Neptune. Yeah, Neptune and Saturn with the North Node. We talked about that, kind of dissolving the old realities and breaking down these rigid systems. We have like, we have an opportunity to restructure things and base it on our own spiritual, paths, our own individual paths. Everybody's got something different going on. But what's cool about this is, it being connected to the North Node, there's like a collective destiny realignment. We're seeing that we all need to choose a new path, whether that's positive or negative for you. We really need to get a better look at reality and get grounded in it, because there's been a lot of illusions, a lot of untruths, a lot of things that we've had to sort through that make things confusing, I think, for a lot of people. Like, what do I believe? What do I know? What's going on? Which kind of brings me to the Jupiter-Mercury cycle that just started. We had Mercury and Jupiter meet for the first time in a long time. It begins a new cycle. So how we think and how we, communicate and what we believe, we're getting like fresh mental framework. I mean, we were talking in the chat too about Jupiter being debilitated in Gemini, and I've never followed debilitations. I've never been like, oh, this planet doesn't work that well here because, and I was sort of turned on to it, but I mean, I don't know. I think with Jupiter being a Gemini, if you follow debilitations, I mean, it's a possibility you could just get the information like mixed up or wrong, but I just don't get that. I mean, I get it's Vedic, it's Hellenistic, it's like totally ingrained in tradition, but I don't know.
It doesn't play out from chart to chart. It just doesn't.
Exactly.
It just doesn't.
I was testing it last week, and I watch a lot of Vedic astrologers, and like when they talk about it, I'm like, oh well, that makes sense, But then I when I'm like reading for somebody and I'm asking questions, I'm not getting that all the time. So
yeah,
it's got to be some formula that I just don't. Yeah.
No, it does. It sounds like it should work, but then it actually doesn't from chart to chart. Maybe like some people it does, but some people tropical works. So in like some of the things, but not all of it's not going to, and I'm a all or nothing person when it comes to astrology. Like it's either right and it's going to be right every time, or something's wrong with the equation and we need to figure out what it is.
Yes. I'm playing around with it anyway. I'm playing around with it, but I don't know if I like it. I don't know.
I don't like it. I'm just gonna take a stand. Well, I don't like it.
I'm just trying to be open,
I know, and I appreciate that. And and you know what? Everybody should be open, and we should test all these things out, and see what works. Like, nobody should take my word for it. Like, go forth and calculate.
Well, I know, because sometimes you have another planet with the planet, and it'll cancel out that detriment or whatever, and I'm like, okay.
I just don't see the detriment. I just don't see it.
I've never seen it. I've never seen, this planet operates very poorly because it's here. I don't see the exaltation either. I just don't see it. That either. Yeah. I don't know. That's like saying you live in this house, but you hate this room. Like, what the fuck? What the hell is that? I don't know. It's just
it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
There's evidence that the exaltation, there's better evidence as opposed to the detriment. Some of this, I think there's interpretations and what's the word I'm looking at? Translations that are into play, but some purport that the Babylonians actually probably in like somewhere between the 3rd to 1st century BC actually developed the exaltations, and now I don't think detriment, but exaltations for sure. I mean, there's evidence for it, but I still don't think that they were using it the same way that it's meant to, like it's being used in at least, classical Western astrology or possibly Vedic either, I don't know. Mostly because again, I don't really care. And I know this probably sounds terrible, but every attempt to try to prove or disprove whether it worked, Like it doesn't work chart to chart. We could sit here if we knew where people's, first of all, I don't remember where all the exaltations are or detriments. Like I just don't remember at this point. But if we sat here, I guarantee you, if we had a bunch of people get on the chat and start telling us where their stuff was and if it was in detriment or exaltation, it's not gonna show. Maybe I guess we could, the exaltation, I don't think you can notice as much because again, I think they all play well. They just play differently in the different constellations. But detriment is very specific. It's very obviously, clearly negative, and it just doesn't show up chart to chart. You guys, if you don't know, I should probably, so going back to I think somebody tried to break into my house. I didn't get to sleep till really late, and then I locked both locks from the inside because the lock's still working from the inside. But my husband, or ex-husband technically, came pounding on the door like really early in the morning because he needed some tape. So I woke up way too early, and I'm usually kind of fried by the time we have these calls, but it's way worse than normal. So if I'm struggling over here, please forgive me.
It's a full moon. Like, we don't totally forgive you.
I normally have great full moons, and I technically am. It's just,
Yeah.
One Alice is like, she's so dramatic. She's like, why is this happening? I'm like, honey, there's a reason for everything. Maybe we do need a new lock. Maybe it's time. That's not a big deal. There's benefits to all of these things, even though they maybe suck in the interim. So
yeah. Well, what turned me on to looking at it, Gary O'Toole of Timeline Astrology, he had done a video a little while ago about Venus moving retrograde through Pisces. And he was talking about how she acts in detriment. So she acts more like a Virgo than the Virgo Venus than the Pisces Venus.
Is Virgo Venus bad?
Well, she's like a little bit more, like he said, I can't remember what he exactly said. It's not necessarily bad, but that Venus retrograde for me was like, I don't know. I definitely felt like it was more of a Virgo time, like heightened perfectionist issues and all these other like problems. He was kind of, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Well, it's interesting.
Whatever he said. Yeah. It triggered something. So I was like, oh, maybe this like detriment thing is real.
I had a great Venus retrograde. I had a great Mars retrograde. I have a great Jupiter retrograde. They're all great.
Yeah. Good. I'm so happy for you.
Right. I realize that's probably not the norm for a lot of people, but a lot of people have, when it's direct, it's a train wreck. Their lives are a mess no matter what direction it's going.
Yeah.
So again, astrology is so very individual. It's really hard to know exactly how.
Well, and it does depend on the cycle. It depends on the aspects. It depends on where it is in your chart and what's happening. So, I mean, it's very specific and picky. But anyway, he had said that, and I was like, oh, is this like new Vedic knowledge? It turns out like everybody's been using them
forever.
And I must have read about it and was like, don't need that. Just disregarded it because,
well, yeah.
I don't know. I haven't had a moment in time where I actually needed it, but I've been thinking about it. So I don't know, but with Mercury anyway, back with Jupiter, does that cancel out the detriment?
You're at, yeah, if you're at, I hope it's rhetorical.
Mercury's spot. Yeah,
I hope it's rhetorical because
I don't know.
My answer, what my answer is.
Yeah. Anyway, though, Jupiter and Mercury started a new cycle. I mean, I'm not sure if Mercury is going to back up. I didn't have time today to look up all the retrogrades that are coming and happening in July. But yeah, well,
it looks like July 1st. It might. Oh wait, no. Wait. Hold on. Yeah, July.
Around July?
Sometime in July, yeah.
Mercury goes retrograde? Okay. Yeah, that's around the same time that Saturn and Neptune go retrograde too.
Maybe third week. I don't know. There's probably a precise date. Probably figure that out.
Oh, I didn't even think about Mercury going retrograde. I just knew the big players were. I think.
Oh, who are you?
Gonna...
Who are you talking about? Jupiter?
Well, well, no. From memory, all I can tell you is that I know that in July, Saturn and Neptune go retrograde. Okay. So, and I could.
Are we predicting devastation and chaos, or?
Well, I was looking because I mean it's looking spicy. It's looking a little spicy, just a tiny little bit. I mean, I don't want to get into it too much because I don't live in the same country, and mine is obviously different than everybody else's. So. Yeah. We're unique. We are unique.
It looks like it's already retrograde. And no, Jupiter. Later.
Yeah, later through Gemini, and then he goes back over because I think he's going over like my North Node right now. But yeah, okay. I've had a lot of really cool things going on for that. I've been trying to write them down. I'm like, I don't feel like it's expanded a whole lot.
You don't think Jupiter's expanding?
Well, I don't know. Not really. Maybe I don't really think. Well, okay, like in certain areas of life, I guess, like education, class stuff. Like,
sure, but isn't there always something expanding and contracting? Like, is this not the nature of a dual universe and polarities and whatnot?
Yeah. I don't know. Whatever. Right. Right.
Right.
I know. We're all like, what's really going on? I wish I could explain it to you in a way that actually made sense to everybody. But even if I knew all the answers, even if I knew like who God really is and what everything, and I could tell you, you would never believe me anyway. You'd be like, okay, that sounds like just another story.
Well, some stuff, it just has to be experienced. I've been watching I don't know if you guys watched that Jordan Peterson debate with the 20 atheists or whatever, and they originally billed it as like 20 atheists versus a Christian, but then he came out during the interview and was like, well, you don't know I'm a Christian. Like, he got real wishy-washy about it, wouldn't admit it. So anyways, there's been all of these, all these atheists kind of coming out of the woodwork. And to me, it's like, why do you guys bother? And I know why the answer is. They always debate the Christian concept of God and divinity, which is very restrictive. And like, it's only one version of God. So personally, I think it's really easy for an atheist to debunk that. But I always wonder, like, why don't you guys ever try to, not you personally, Niki, but like these atheists, like, why don't they ever try to talk to somebody from like Eastern traditions or, like Buddhists, which I guess technically some Buddhists are atheists, and, I don't know. But going back to what you were saying, like everybody is going to believe what they want to believe. There's some people out there like Ola Walney believe that when you die, you don't go to the light because your soul's going to get sucked onto a box in the moon, and they're going to force you to reincarnate so that they can harvest your energy. And what are you going to say? Like, you can't prove it wrong. You can't prove it right necessarily. So we just got to deal with it. Just have fun.
But just for a couple $1,000, you can come on a retreat and continue to keep up the. She'll
help you escape the soul trap, I guess. I think that's what's happening.
I was just reading about mythology, and what was really funny is this person in it's actually a Greek mythology book, brought up God a little bit, and they were like, I find it strange that Marduk slays Tiamat and then claims that he created everything. Like, kind of weird. And I was like, oh, that sounds like a familiar story.
Yeah.
I wonder what that's about.
Yeah, a lot of parallels.
And a lot of parallels and a lot of, I don't know, I think some folks just don't look, they just want the answer now, and it hits them right here, and they just think, this is it. This is what I've been waiting for. You know how many times it's happened to me where I'm like, this is what I've been looking for my entire life. And just to find out, it's just another lesson, just another like step towards something else, you know, like just another. Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to say, you know, this is it. And this is where I'm, you know, sticking my flag in the ground.
But astrology, you're 100% on board. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Because I've seen it work over and over and over. When I was testing it, when I was younger, I did hair for 15 years. I've seen thousands of different people. Okay. And I have asked them all questions, and trust me, I've had, when's your birthday? Like, tell me about yourself. Like, I've had the interview processes over and over, and I'm telling you, tropical does not align with anything. There is nothing to it. And by chance, you may have alignments and things that, you know, feed that tropical story. Like for instance, my friend that I read this weekend, she, I've never seen her chart before. Very kind of Aquarian in nature. And she's like, oh, I'm an Aquarius. I'm like, no, you're not, but that's okay. We're going to look at it. But she has Uranus right on her ascendant, like right on it. So it gives her that very Aquarian nature too, that very like rebellious, like, I'm not going to do what you tell me to do. Okay. Like, I'm going to shake my head and nod, and then I'm just going to go do what I want. And because my ideas are better, and, you know, that's kind of her attitude. And we talked a lot about, you know, her chart, but that was like, for me, that was like, wow, that's really kind of feeding into the Aquarian story by just having that placement right there. And so she was excited. Obviously, she called her best friend. She talked about it with everybody because she was like, she nailed it. Like, she was like, how were you able to like talk about what's happening inside of my inner world? Like, how do you know that? I'm like, well, it's right there. Like, when you align yourself up with the cosmos, like, it's like you open the gate. Like, think about a lock, you know, you can't unlock anything if you're not even putting the key in the door. You're like 30 feet away trying to figure it out.
Or if you're jamming it in there when Abby's not at home, okay? Yeah. You're trying to put in the lock does not belong in there.
You're right. Maybe somebody was drunk and they thought it was their apartment.
That is actually that is the most likely situation, yes.
Yeah.
Somebody was on the wrong floor and desperately trying to get into their apartment.
Maybe they had to poop or something. They're like, I gotta get in there. And then they're like, fuck, this isn't even my floor.
Once every great while, like, we have a code on the apartment door and stuff, but once every great while, some drunk person thinks that they live here and they don't. So
it happens.
It does happen, yes.
Russians, I hear, are like the best at drinking. Like, I don't know. Like, they would love it here in Wisconsin. They would absolutely.
I have met a lot of Russians that do not drink at all. Like, they don't touch anything. And then there are a large number of Russians that are the stereotype, like drinking vodka in the woods and wrestling bears stereotype. Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So stereotypes, you guys, not to be racist, but I mean, some stereotypes are there for a reason, because they're based on they're exaggerated, obviously, most of them, but they're based on some semblance of truth. Okay. Irish people do like to fight and drink. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know.
I
don't know what you want.
I don't even drink like anymore, but if
and wine,
you gave me the option, I would drink and fight. Yeah, I would. And I'm kind of Italian too, and I'd eat pasta after.
Yeah.
I mean,
get the mix.
You're right. I would totally fall for this. I have, actually. I've lived the stereotypes, so yeah. Yeah, I'm not surprised though. I think the stereotype around Russians being, pretty badass. I don't think you've ever met a weak one.
No,
I don't think you could. I've had Russian clients too, and they're just like, like.
It's interesting though, and this was the case before the war. I just want to like preface this, but you know how in America they have those memes about like, in Russia, the bear is afraid of you, or, goofy stuff like that about like how scared Russians are. Well, Russians have the same memes, except they're about Ukrainians. Like, they're all like, no, Ukrainians are totally insane, crazy, like starting fight, just doing whacked out stuff all the time. And this was like well before the war. This was a good, solid 10 years ago. So all of that, like awe that people in America look on Russians being like totally badass, the Russians look that way at the Ukrainians too. So
yeah.
interesting.
Oh my God. I saw a video once of this badass Russian chick doing like push-ups with weights. And she was like, I'm going after the bear. And I was like, oh my God, she could. I think she could.
Yeah.
I was like, I would die. All she would have to do is go like that. And I would just be dead. It's like,
yeah.
Wow, that is pretty crazy. It's like, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. We have somebody out there that I know will defeat Skynet. She's pretty badass. I'm like, damn.
It's coming. It's definitely on its way. Mermaids Wear Hats says, I was married to a Russian and he was the opposite of the stereotypes. Mermaids Wear Hats. Tell us more. You have to tell us more. I was also married to a Russian, and he's definitely not, he doesn't really drink. He would not fight any bears. He's kind of a, like, I don't know, like a big ball of squish, figuratively and literally at this point. But, he's definitely not that guy. But yeah, I'd like to know more. Mermaids Wear Hats.
Yeah, I don't know if I would ever fight a bear. I actually ran into a bear once.
No, you would not, Niki.
Yeah, no, I did. I ran into it. I was smoking a cigarette. This was years and years ago. I was smoking a cigarette at the park, and I look over and he's going through the garbage, and I'm like, oh fuck, and we saw each other, and we were not too far away, and I got up and I started walking to like, and then I just started fucking running, and I look over and he's running too, like alongside me. And I'm like,
God.
Smoker's lung. It influenced me to quit.
I can't.
All right. I fucking ran. I know I shouldn't have, but I like had my period and I thought this motherfucker's going to get me, like kill me. And he wasn't. He was just looking for food, He was, but he would look young. And I was like, oh my God, this has got to be like, it's got to be kind of a cub. And what if the mom is around? Like I never ran for my life, like so hard than I did that day. And I locked myself in the car and I just I don't know. I didn't get attacked and I didn't die. So obviously everything was fine. I don't suggest running from bears, but worked out for me. It's like scared. It's like you look over and like 10, 15 feet away from you is like a bear going through the garbage. I'm like, no, thanks. I think I'll take my chances running. Got short legs. I made it. Okay. Mermaids Wear Hats says he was a computer programmer, hated alcohol, super mild-mannered and quiet. Oh. This sounds all right. Yeah, what happened? Well, I guess I probably shouldn't ask what happened. It's like, that sounds good. So, just didn't work out, huh? Yeah. My, God, I don't even remember. Man, I don't even remember. I don't know. Like I'm looking back and I have family history that we've been just from everywhere. My kids ask me like, what are we? And I tell them we're mutts. Okay. We're mutts. And they're like, what does that mean? And I'm like, cause we're a little bit of like everything. We got a lot of Polish, like my great grandfather. I remember hearing stories about him having to be like morphined because he just hated the Germans so much. He got gassed in World War I. And he just would like freak out. He actually, I think he tried to go back World War II because he I don't know. Like, I don't know what the hell happened. I don't know what was up with this guy, but he hated the Germans.
Is this a Russian dude?
No, it was my great grandfather is like Polish.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that makes sense.
Because we were almost like exterminated the entire family line due to what was going on over there at the time. And I'm not a history buff, so I don't know. But I was like, yeah, I think I was born with like weird
genetic
war
memory
stuff. Yeah, genetic memory. Because I'm like, I don't trust him either. Just kidding.
Mermaids Wear Hat says he was a computer programmer and hated alcohol, super mild-mannered and quiet. Yeah, we got those here too.
Critical and nitpicky. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't need that. Yeah, nobody needs that.
Yeah, no offense to my Eastern European friends and clients out there, but I'm always really not excited when I get a client who's from like Eastern Europe. Now I live in Eastern Europe. Well, technically I live in the Asian side of the border, but close enough. And like they're great. Like the people here are great, but sometimes like you just can't read them. Like when you're talking to them, it's better they look pissed off all the time. And people here look pissed off too. Like always on the news, they're like just like furious all the time. When they're on their driver's license picture, they're like, I'm like, can I smile on my passport picture? They're like, no. Okay. But they're actually really nice. It's just, like they're the way they come off, they sound like angry all the time.
I had a client for years. Her name is Ola. And we're still connected on Instagram, but lost touch obviously, but she would always get pissed off because she was so happy here. And her mom, she would go and call her mom and it would pull her mom up on FaceTime. And it was around the time we started FaceTiming. She's like, you smile too much. You're not supposed to be smiling that much.
Yeah.
And she would be like pissed. Yeah. She's like, why? Because I'm happy. Like I'm not allowed to be happy. Like I don't want to ever go back to, that country because I get to be happy here and I get to do what I want. And it was cool. You can still be happy and do what you want, but then she's under a different tradition, cultural expectations. I mean, it was kind of stereotypical though. I was like, well, this is kind of what.
Hey, there's stereotypes. There's a reason for them.
God, right? That's why I'm not excited to travel out of the country because when people find out where I'm from, like they're gonna treat me like I'm special ed or something.
No,
they're gonna be like, ew.
It doesn't work like that. I'm sure there are some people. I came over here in 2014 when all the problems like were starting with Obama and the coup in Ukraine and all this other stuff. Yeah, and I was really freaked out. I thought people were gonna be mean to me and like, oh, your country sucks, like just horrible, like And I was really worried about it. But everyone was so nice. They're just, they don't. And I'm not sure. I would imagine Americans are like this too. When you meet someone from another country, like you don't associate them with the country's government, like whatever's going on with the government.
Yeah, so, not at all. Not at all.
Chat with Mary Mystic. Lorna says, grew up in mountains, lots of bears. Lol, no on the running. Right? Yeah, don't run. Saw a grizzly on my way to school. Beautiful. That is horrifying.
Yeah.
Mermaids wear hats. Yes, they do. Bee face. Yes. 100%. Mermaids wear hats also says, but I have that too, so I can't judge. Yeah, I didn't used to have it, but now I do. Like maybe 5 years ago, Andre would be like, "You're starting to look like a Russian woman." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's because they're pissing me off most of the time." Like that. Now I know why they look like that all the time because they're dealing with Russian husbands.
Yeah. I know. I got the WTF marks right here from all the years of being like
scowling and
like, what the heck? Do I have to teach you how to be like a decent, compassionate human? Like, oh, okay. Obviously, that can't be taught.
Yeah. Andre speeds up when you're driving in the car. If like somebody's crossing the road with a baby or an old person, he speeds up.
Oh, because he's like mentally, these are points.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Is this a point system?
It's called being an asshole.
Oh, I thought it was like a little.
And then I'll be like, "You're a terrible person." He's like, "No, I'm not." He like gets really upset. Or like I'll give money to like a homeless person, and he's like, "Why didn't you give me that money?" Okay, dude, whatever.
Yeah. He's got Leo placements, right?
Yeah, he's a Leo. He thought he was a Virgo, and I believed him for some reason, just because.
Yeah, because you don't think about it sometimes. Yeah, it's like,
he has Virgo traits. Like he's good at math, which I'm not, even though I'm super Virgo. So, yeah. But still, like some Virgos a lot of Virgos become accountants. Don't ask me why. I mean, I can probably tell you why. It's got something to do with the connection to like the material world. But I don't know why they just go number crunching crazy. It does happen.
Yeah. That was my ex. He's a Virgo rising, and it was just obsessed with money, just obsessed, still is. I'm getting messages right now.
Okay.
I've been bitching. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, it's there.
It would be hard to, I think. The Leo is a little bit easier, I think, to deal with. Andre's got
you can soothe their ego a little bit, you know.
If you know how to manipulate them, for sure.
Yeah, and that's I know.
Yes,
unfortunately,
it can be molded.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah, the Virgos. Yeah, I've actually only ever really dated Virgos. Looking back, I'm like, oh, that's what that was. Like, yeah. Okay, maybe I'm just that so unbalanced Pisces. They just pull in Virgo energy.
Maybe I don't know. Need that grounding force, and the ones that you picked, just weren't the best.
Not at all. No, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay, we don't gotta.
Moving on. Oh, well, yeah. Actually, we should talk about Mars in the South Node moving into Leo, because I feel like when that happened, I feel like I know when it hit the boundaries too, because I was hanging out with my dad, who's also a weird mystic feeler type person. Okay, I know where I get it from, and he was like, I don't know what's going on today, but I am pissed off. I just feel pissed off, and I'm thinking about the past, and I'm thinking about all this stuff that just makes me mad. And I'm like, oh, me too. I was like, where is this coming from? And I thought, I was just picking up on his stuff, because I'll pick up on all the stuff he's thinking about. And I didn't really realize this, because it'll be like an hour before I have to go see him and go run his errands and hang out. And we've had a very effed up, relationship over the years. So, he's somebody I'm not afraid to tell off. We're not afraid to be very, real and raw with each other. And so, yeah, I'll pick up on things, and then I'll start talking to him about it. And he's like, are you like reading me? Are you reading my mind? And after a while, I'm like, maybe I am just picking up on stuff, but not this. I really feel like as Mars and the South Node came into Leo, we started thinking about ourselves. I mean, we started it kind of got a little weird. I don't know, in my opinion, Mars moving through Leo after being in such a, tight opposition with Pluto. I think it just kind of flavors the energy as it moves into a new constellation. And we see that happening with the moon. That's why when I talk about the moon, I'll talk about it in its, in conjunct phase, right before it hits its peak, and even right after, because that's when it's the most potent, is in that area. Not just today when it's peaking, but a few days before and a few days after. And we have this peak, and then the next thing it's going to be meeting up with Pluto in a couple of days. So it could really kick off some more emotional stuff for people. I mean, I had the weirdest day yesterday. On top of all that other stuff, I had people coming to visit me, not even not to buy anything. Okay, just to tell me, just to tell me about it, just to hang out. I get it all the time. It was really kind of nice, because I knew they were coming just to drop some baggage,
And that was that Antares?
Oh, definitely. Oh, my Antares is like working overtime. But yeah. I mean, like just last night. So, I mean, everybody's coming to me talking about their problems. One dude's got a war going on in his apartment complex, and it's him against this lady. And he was like so proud of himself, because he's like, I told her she's aging badly. I knew that would get her. Well, and I'm like, good for you. Yeah. I was like, that would hurt me if somebody said that. Yeah. I was like, congratulations. And then last night, as I'm passing out on the couch, sitting up, my neighbor comes out, and she's just yelling on the phone about something, upset about something. Like, I guess the energy's out there. People are feeling it, however it's hitting you. me, I'm just trying to sit in my cave and just not be seen or heard.
Sometimes that's what you get. That's what you got to do.
Yeah, hunker down. I got my own like personal struggles and bullshit that I'm working through. So I mean, it's an internal thing, and everybody's got it, and I'm just really, really just hoping it doesn't explode, and turns into an outside thing instead of just I accept this and I'm okay with this and moving on. It's not that simple for some people. Some people got to go out kicking and screaming and making changes. And especially with the moon being, in this degree, in this aspect, in this constellation, we're talking a lot about release and letting go and transformation. And that is like, that's messy and it's ugly. And sometimes you have to confront things that you wouldn't normally ever find yourself confronting. A lot of it's really like dark shadow stuff, emotional patterns. Like, what am I holding space for? What am I doing this for? It's kind of like that, like, we said before, like this karmic crossroads. I mean, choices are going to have to be made. I mean, if you're just like, I'm just going to ignore it and everything's great and everything's good in my world and I don't need to make any changes, like, oh, God bless you. I'm so glad. I'm so happy for you that life is just that perfect that you need zero improvement in it. So I'm so happy. I know there's people out there who are like, I don't have any problem. Good. I'm so happy for you.
I don't know that those people exist.
I'm sure there are like one or two out there. Like
everybody, even, the greatest, I don't know, Zen masters or whatever, there's always another level you can get to. There's always more improvement that can be made.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I don't know. I've always been one of those people that has just been a self-examiner ever since I was really little. Like, what is this teaching me? What is this showing me? Because I would see the same things repeat themselves. And I would notice myself having the same reactions to something that wasn't changing. And so something had to give. And it was probably, I don't know, the talk show era. So I was probably like around 10, 11 years old when I was watching Sally Jesse Raphael, watching Ricky Lake and watching like all the daytime television you could watch. And they would have some of the most incredible, therapists on there counseling these people. And, I remember one therapist talking about issues and problems, and triggers and having to address the trigger. What is it about this thing that you don't like? And I've done that for so long that I have to now reverse it. Like, what is it about this thing that I like? And what is it? And is it helping me grow? Because sometimes we throw like everything into something that we love, that we think is great and amazing. And it's actually probably the worst thing for us. So
really, can you give me examples?
Well, I mean, off the top of my head, no. I mean,
okay.
But like, I guess, like my relationship with my ex, I thought,
okay, yeah, I get, yeah. So when it comes to
relationships,
that is 100%. We all do that, yes.
Yeah, yes. And I guess that would be the best way that I could relate it. And it starts with like not just relationships, but like friendships and work relationships. But is this, holding me back? Is this, actually really good for me?
Well, relationships, I think, are a different animal because it's not really like in that situation, you're dealing with someone else's free will-ish, if that's even a thing, if we're going to use this as a scenario. So it's not the same as like, I really love playing the piano and I'm going to become a concert pianist. Like, they're definitely different. Like, one's just you. Maybe you shouldn't. Maybe you suck at the piano. Maybe, you're missing some of your fingers. Like, there's reasons. But so it does seem to be like what you just described. It's more pouring energy into another person and hoping on some level that they're going to be like that you're going to get some sort of payoff, or they're going to,
or it's reciprocated, or
exactly.
Halfway. Like,
become somebody that they're really not. Like, that's all true, but I don't really think that that's on you as an individual. Some people put up a very good front, pretending to be someone that they're 100% not. And you can have a connection to them, like an old karmic connection. And, all of these things combined feel like, yes, this is the one, and I got to go all in and, pour my energy into this person. But, I do think that it's a very specific issue that comes with relationships. I mean, in those situations where it's happening with a job, usually it's because somebody's chasing money or prestige. They're not doing something that they love. I think when it comes to the individual, like if you go all in on something that you're actually passionate about, you're probably doing something that's in line, with your spirit or your purpose. But I don't think that necessarily applies to relationships for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree with that. That was, that was the last 20 something years have been so much fun.
I don't know how you do it. I seriously don't know how you made it as long as you did.
I don't know how I didn't unalive myself. I'm serious. I really look back and I'm like, and if I can make it through that, I can make it through whatever apocalypse is
I know how your moon is in Capricorn. Your moon, listen, I will. It's worth repeating multiple times. That strong Capricorn is going to give you the energy to push past all where everybody else would totally have their breakdown or check out. Like you just keep going, you just keep digging down, finding deeper to just give and give and give, and it just never ends.
Well, I tried everything. So let's just put it that way. I've tried everything. I did it all. It's fine. I never want to do that again. That's all I know.
Yeah, you definitely don't have to
ever do that again. I'm good.
Chat with Mary Mystic. Lorna says, not although lots of Virgos in my family, not good at math. Yeah, me neither. And I have super, super strong Virgo. So it's not one of those things. When I tell people, like, I'll list it out for them. Like, these are things that Virgos tend to go towards, but it's not a guarantee. Like, math is not a guarantee I don't know that there is a math guarantee anywhere in the chart. I just don't. I don't think there's a math planet. I think there's ways we could see maybe, but I don't think that's it. What else? We're not good at that. They would comment on my math skills. Okay. Yesterday was crazy in public, being extra mindful to center and ground before going out today.
Yeah, it was intense yesterday. I didn't even try. I was like, I'm just showing up. Everything's great in my world.
It was great. I had seriously, guys, I had one of the best days ever yesterday.
Yeah. You looked like you had fun yesterday.
I probably had so much fun. I'm tired. I'm definitely
probably sore.
It was great. Sidereal Astrology says, which is Sidereal Astrology, I believe.
Yeah.
Is that Swedish? Is that
Swedish?
What I'm looking at?
Yeah. We know who that is.
Give and give and give. Venus and Capricorn feel that. Yes, I'm telling you guys, it's out there. Hello, ladies. Hello. How are you?
Yes, it is real. The Capricorn giving just never ends.
Yeah, and it'll kill you at some point.
I think it's easy to get emotionally manipulated too. I mean,
because you're generous, you're kind, you have your instinct is to serve and to sacrifice, and that's what you do.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah. And it's so against the normal meaning of Capricorn. You know what? I'm going to pull
it is. It is because my friend this weekend, she's a Capricorn sun and Mercury. Her Mercury and sun are in Capricorn. And we talked about it. And she was like, I'm like, yeah. She had a similar breakup. Type of breakup, and all of that was happening right when Pluto was going over her south node and Venus. So she had a really hard time, and we got to talk through it. We got to talk about it and kind of try to understand what was going on. And it was just an incredible time to read for her. She had. Yeah. Okay. I'll stop. I'm gushing. I don't want to give too much away about her privacy and everything, but it was cool. It's cool how it works. Why does astrology work, guys? I don't know.
Yeah.
Sky.
ChatGPT says Capricorn, December 22nd through 19th. No, but he's like, do you want me to do a Mesopotamian version? Because now he's like, he knows. And I'm like, no, I'll just take the goofy pop culture one. He says Capricorn is known as the hard worker of the zodiac. Okay, sure, yeah. Symbolized by the mountain goat, Capricorns are ambitious, determined, sure, in circumstances, impractical, maybe. They love setting long-term goals and achieving them. They think to think of them as steady climbers who keep going when others give up. Yeah, but that's not where it's coming from. Nowhere in here it's going to talk about just how loving they are, which is where it's really coming from. It's not. I really don't think it's coming from the ambitious side. I've done thousands of readings, and I in the beginning for sure I'd be like, hey, look, I'm testing this out. Are you like really ambitious? Are you like really? And they're like, well, I care a lot about my job, but I'm not really ambitious. It's more like, I just feel like I need to do a good job. Like, I feel like it's, like a responsibility or something. It's more like that. They value discipline, structure, and responsibility. Okay. Many Capricorns naturally take on leadership roles, which I don't necessarily see that. Some of them do, but it's not across the board, whether at work or in their communities. Some of them are but they don't mind putting the effort now for a bigger payoff later. Again, that seems like the practical association coming out. Capricorns can sometimes seem serious or reserved, but they have a dry sense of humor and a deeply loyal heart. When they trust someone, they go to great lengths to support and protect them. This was a really nice version. A lot of the Capricorn descriptions are like, they just paint them like dicks. ChatGPT was really nice about it, you guys. Common Capricorn traits: ambitious, hardworking, responsible, loyal, disciplined, practical, sometimes cautious or guarded. I don't get the last one so much. In love, Capricorn seeks stability and trust and friendship. Who freaking doesn't?
Exactly.
Who wants a partner who's like all over the place and they can't trust them? I mean, I know people tend to pick stuff like that, but it's not conscious. Come on. And friendships, they're the ones you can count on, always showing up when it matters. I don't know. I can't verify that. And nobody's going to own up to that either way. They're going to be like, of course I'm the good friend,
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't know. I've had like a secret, like I do secret competitive stuff. Like in the salon, I'd be like, we're in secret competition. And I would tell my coworkers that. And it's not really a secret when you tell them.
Where's your Mars?
In Aries.
Okay.
Yeah. But it was like I would tell them so that we could be like, all right, we have to get our numbers up. We're in secret competition. All right.
Yeah.
And we would help build each other up. Like I would show up at like their chair and be like, oh, and recommend like a product or whatever, compliment their client.
So you're
and they
a
would
team
do the
player?
same for me.
Yeah.
I'm a very, very much a team player. Like I love working as a team. And that's why I had such a hard time going independent when I opened up my own business, because I still liked working as a team. But it's a whole nother like animal out there, when you're independent. People didn't see it as teamwork. They were like, you're stealing my clients.
They
like,
probably
didn't. Nice. People. Well, yeah, I'm a charmer. I'm great. Like if I do my rounds, like, unfortunately, your clients might come see me next, instead of you, because they just like me. They don't even like my work. They just like me,
Like, Niki, you're the worst hairstylist I've ever had, but I really like talking to you.
I had somebody tell me that, and I wasn't the worst. But she was like, I don't really even particularly like the way you cut my hair, but I like you, and I like everything you have to say when I come in and we talk. And
that's a really
I saw her for years.
Yeah, that's she liked you so much that she let you give her bad haircuts or whatever it was.
I was like, all right, we got to recalibrate here, because I want you happy on
like,
why didn't she spectrums.
Why didn't she just tell you how to fix it, like how she wants it?
Yeah, she did. I guess I just still wasn't doing it right. But maybe it's because I was talking too much. I don't know. But I've had the opposite though too. Like when I left Aveda, because Aveda's a cult too. So I guess I was a part of a cult.
I don't know what that is.
So Aveda is like just a salon. Like it's like a
chain?
network. Yeah, it's like a chain. They have their own schools. They have their own products. It's supposed to be based on like earthy spiritual stuff. Like the guy who started it was like this dude who was super into culty. Like, the Eastern medicine, and he made all of like his products in a sink at home, and his name is Horst, and he was just magic, right?
In there? Yeah.
Oh yeah. And like, so we all fell for it, but I came on board like right around the time it was like the spell was all unwinding and everybody knew it was bullshit. So, but you have clients who think that the only way they're going to get their hair done is if you're an Aveda stylist, they have to have Aveda everything. So when I left Aveda, I had a client tell me, she's like, "You're fucking dead to me. Do you understand that?" And I was like,
that's horrible.
I know. And I was like, all right, well, if you change your mind, I'm going to be here. Because I'm optimistic. I'm like, oh, she'll get over it. She never got over it.
Yeah.
She never got over it.
Probably just as well.
I'm okay with it. But that's how I knew I was in a cult. I was like, wow, this really is a cult. When like 50% of your clientele is just like, you're dead to me. You're leaving the place I love. I was like, yeah, that's weird. Very weird. You know everything about this person. They're like ins and outs, what they do for a living. But before she met me, she was flying down to her old hometown in Georgia to get her hair done before that. So she would literally book flights and go get her hair done. So
that's dedication. Like once a month to get a haircut?
Probably like every other month. I
don't understand how people get their hair cut by someone
I do my own hair. I don't trust anybody.
I don't. I just don't understand it. One of my clients, she's always said like, "Oh, I went to get my hair cut," and I'm like, "Oh, that's right. People do that."
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, that's crazy.
I don't know. Some of the worst mistakes I've ever made in my life were haircuts. Okay. Like I can definitely say that. It wasn't like other things, drugs, confrontations. These were haircuts, okay? Ruined my life. I'm a Leo rising, by the way. Can you tell? Actually, my daughter was just showing me old pictures, and she's like, remember that haircut? And I was like, oh my God, I'm so glad I deleted my Facebook account.
So you don't have to see all the memories of the haircuts?
Oh my God, the haircuts through the years have just been tragic. Just tragic. That's why I do my own hair now. I don't have to explain it to anybody. I don't have to tell them what to do. I'm not going to walk out with a jacked up haircut because they just did whatever they wanted. And we were talking. And one time I had my hair grown out to here. Okay. It was here past the shoulders, and we're talking. And I was like, I just came in for a trim. Next thing you know, it's up to here. I just thought that you would like the new Sienna Miller look. And I'm like, you cut off all my hair. Like we're talking. And I'm like, and it's curly. So it bounced. I was like, oh God, that was just one. There was another girl who cut my bangs and then they bounced up to here. I wanted to meet her out in the parking lot. That was the only time my husband was like,
how does she
actually
know
making
that
sense.
They're going to do that? She doesn't know?
She just didn't care. She just didn't care.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. Like me and female like hairstylists and the male hairstylists, like I get along with them just great. I can go see any guy and they'll cut my hair perfect. I get in the chair with another lady and it gets awful real fast.
I have that issue with female doctors. They're really mean to me. Really mean to me.
Oh yeah, mine too.
Where like I will avoid them now at all costs because they're just horrible.
Yeah,
especially the female gynecologists and obstetricians. Yeah. No offense, Dr. Danny. I'm sure you're a great obstetrician, right? That's what she does.
Yeah, she does. Like, I don't. But
I don't know what it is. They're all like super, super mean to me. But I have, if you have strong Aries, you probably deal with jealousy issues at some point in your life. Like that's probably a real thing. Or also sometimes there can be a little bit of that with this placement right here, actually. Something going on in this void portion above.
Oh, yeah.
Orion.
Yeah, actually, I've had problems with doctors no matter who they are. It doesn't matter if it's a boy or a girl.
Well, I mean, doctors across the board for sure problems. But I mean, like way worse.
Just female hairstylists, I think. I don't know. It's a vibe. Like I still can't, like I know one when I meet one too. And they're like, how'd you know? Yeah. Yeah. I'm like, I wonder if this is like a past life thing. I like, oh my God. I'm so glad that career is over. I loved it. Right in the spot you were just pointing at when you were like
portion.
The void.
Yep. Then it's definitely some past life stuff for sure. That's a really rough past life placement too. Your South Node.
Yeah. Apparently I was like, real rough. I don't know. Apparently I was just a horrible person. I don't know. Like my ex just, I think he remembers things. I don't like, he's not somebody you can talk. I'm like, was I that bad? Like, come on, we had this one life to get it right. Like, you didn't want to do it right. You just wanted to be a dick this time, And he's just like, you are always the dick. I'm like, what? Like, okay, whatever. You can't really talk to him about past life stuff. Now, my kids, on the other hand, they remember. Like, my youngest daughter, she like has this remembrance of her being in charge, her being the mom. Yeah. There's been times I've had to be like in her face for like, I'm the mom this time. You're going to listen to me.
Yeah.
And she has not. Like, she doesn't. She's like, no, that's all right. I'm good on that. So it's like this, it's a weird life. I'm living a really, really weird life.
I believe it. I do.
Having a really strange time, and I never want to do this again.
Yeah.
I never want to do it again.
Well,
I'll tell you that much.
Odds are you probably will have to, so don't fight it.
Have to.
Probably. My guess. Hey, I don't know for sure. Okay, I 100% do not know for sure. I suspect that bodies need souls, and I think that like it's not.
The bodies need souls, Niki.
Well, they do. So
like there aren't a gazillion of them lined up to come here.
Look, you volunteered. I'm telling you, you volunteered. You volunteered. We all.
I picked the short straw. I think I don't know.
You probably were like, oh, I can do that. Like that's not hard, And then you get here and you're like, oh man, this sucks. But we all do that, We all do that to some. It's like when you sit down to play a video game, you're gonna go in there and you're gonna get whatever video game. Yeah. And it's not a big deal at the time because you're like, oh yeah, this is just like this video game. And that's what a lot of people who have near-death experiences, they basically say the same stuff. Like they're shown how they remember picking their parents and their messed up lives. I listened to this one interview with this one girl, and it was something horrible. Like her mom and dad were drug addicts, and she got I think she got pimped out like as a child to some pedophile, like really, really horrible stuff. And then like she overdosed, and that's when, because obviously she was messed up after that.
Yeah.
And she like saw the whole experience, and I think what she said is she was like, it was almost like like when you're going to the grocery store and you're shopping and you're going down the aisle and you're like picking out, you're like choosing, oh, I want, I'll do this and I'll take these drugs and I'll have this experience. And it's like not a big deal to you at the time. Now I can't speak from personal experience because I haven't had a near-death experience. So, but a lot of people report similar things. So I'm just saying, based on the things I've heard and experienced through doing medium work and, various other things, I'm just guessing, Niki, we're probably all coming back. I don't think you can, and if you don't want to come back, you got to call Ola Walney because she'll get you out.
Yeah, she really likes me a lot too.
You got to go on a retreat.
She would love to hear from me.
Yeah,
I'm her favorite person.
She would love to have you on her retreat.
Hear from me. Yeah.
Swedish Sidereal Astrology. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say that that Venus and Aries, I've been liking that energy. Haven't you?
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah. I was looking at some old notes that I wrote. And oh god, let me go back. I'll find it.
While you're scanning, Sidereal Astrology says, in Swedish Sidereal Astrology says, I'm learning to expect nothing in return and just have an open heart always. That's Sag. Chat with Mary Mystic Lorna says, agree on the giving with Capricorn, had to learn to listen and only give from the inside inspiration, taken advantage along when I was young. I wanted to be a fairy godmother, stellium and Capricorn, ascendant moon, Venus and Mars, risk taker, bridge burner. Mermaids wear hat says, I'm fine and dandy if we pick our own lives, but what the hell is the long game here? It's so stupid to me.
Well, that's the karmic crossroads that we're at, right? I mean, that really shows like where we're at right now. Cause I mean, everybody's got the same idea in their head. Like, what is the long game here? What the hell is really going on? For the first time in my life, I'm at a point where I can't predict what's going to happen next. I don't really know what's going to happen next. And I feel like I've been.
You mean in your life?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah,
then you're open to
crossroads.
possibilities. You don't necessarily want to predict everything. You want to be open.
Yeah.
I think that the universe is just consciousness expanding and unfolding and experiencing itself. And I think we're just along for that ride. I don't know that it has to have like some human-esque goal, like end game per se. I definitely don't think we just die and go to heaven and then we're just with God forever, but our pets are not with us because pets don't have souls and they don't go to heaven, or like whatever goofy shit that they, taught us in catechism.
Oh, I never want to hear that again. My cat is like, he's my soulmate, actually.
He might be.
He could be. We're like this.
That was one of the things that set me off. I'm like, wait a second. I remember like that conversation in catechism, like, nope, animals don't have souls. They're not going to heaven. I'm like, no, something's wrong here. I'm going to look into this. I'm not buying it. Something seems really wrong.
Yeah. Their whole like spiel is pretty weird. And it's funny because this new generation has come out and they just, like my kids, I just watch my kids and they just think it's ridiculous. They're like, so you guys all believe this shit? Like they just came right out of the gate. Christianity, basically. Like the story that there's only one God. He came here, he created everything. And if you don't believe it, he's going to fucking come and get you, like he.
Well, too, but
there's beauty and love and everything in there.
Yeah, but your kids didn't grow up in a cult, Niki. So like, they had.
I forced them to go to church. Like we had our church,
but clearly you didn't literally beat it into them that if they fuck up, they're going to hell. Like that's why people believe that stuff.
I would never do that.
Right. Alice. Okay. So she was, so like we have Hindu practices. We do puja. We do like all kinds of stuff. And, we have an altar with deities and, murtis and everything. But it was funny because, here in Russia, they're Russian Orthodox. And yesterday when I was talking to Andre, I'm like, dude, what's going on with the lock? I think somebody tried to break into the house. She's in the elevator crying and she's like crossing herself, like doing the, like, cause they do it like 3 times, and they go top down, right, left, and not like Catholic, it's top down, left, right. But, and I'm like, whoa, dude, where's this coming from? Cause we sure don't be doing, like we don't do that around here. But she probably, picked
saw
up
it in movies.
anywhere in Russia. No, like here. So we live right next to a church, and they're all beautiful. But like on the way walking past the church, everybody stops and bow, like they basically genuflect and cross themselves and stuff. Which, whatever. But it was just weird because I just never saw her do it. But I guess that's what they say when you're in a foxhole. I guess, right? Like everybody believes in God. Everybody starts praying when you're scared and you're sad or whatever's going on. So
I remember going to church and embarrassing my mom telling me she was just humiliated. And I was just a little kid because I would see these old people and I'm like, oh, you're close to dying. Like you're close to the gate. Like you're going to go.
You're going to go see Jesus.
Yeah. And she's like, oh, dad, just shut up. Like, don't speak. And I would get my sister upset and she would start screaming, at bald old men because she like thought they were going to die and I just freaking out. And
I'm sure
had a
that
hard time
happens a
bringing
lot
us
with
to
little
church.
Kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
My mom used to wear these like tall thigh high leather like stripper boots basically.
Hell yeah.
And she would wear her like nightgown under the like her long coat and just go to church like that. But then like we'd get in trouble if we had shorts on. I'm like, dude, you're like almost naked under there. But I don't think she was trying to be naughty. I think she just didn't want to put on like real clothes.
Right. She was tired. She was just tired.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, fun at church, fun times.
Yeah, fun at church is always traumatizing.
My last ever, I remember very specifically. So I used to take my grandma to church every week, and I'd go, you know, even though I'd not been Catholic for quite some time. Even though my grandma swears if you were baptized Catholic, you're Catholic forever. Like you don't get a choice. Like you're just stuck like that. But I remember the sermon that this guy gave. I say this guy. I think it warrants. He's a priest, but I think it warrants it. But he was saying he gave this whole sermon on how sexual pleasure is given to people by God as a reward for all of the troubles of parenthood. Like basically, it sucks to be a parent. I don't know how this guy knows, first of all, because he's a priest.
Yeah,
so you're not supposed to. Hey, dude, you're not supposed to know about parenting or sexual pleasure, if we're being honest here. But I just remember being like, okay, this is absurd. We could probably come up with a million more reasons why human beings might experience sexual pleasure, and it's probably not just for some good. Like he just made this shit up. There's nothing in the Bible that says that, as far as I'm aware. I don't remember anything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I can't keep coming back in this place because I'm just getting, kind of furious.
Yeah, dude, that's what happened to me. I got so angry. Like they were trying to tell me, like, and my kids basically, like being gay is the worst thing that can happen. And I'm like, I'm a little gay. Like, F you. Like,
yeah.
Stop, shut up. If we're being honest with ourselves, like that isn't the worst thing that could happen.
No,
and it was around the time people were like,
that's not even one of the 10 big ones.
No. And it was around the time people were like, I want to be married to my partner. Why can't love be love? And that just turned me off. I was like, you're trying to tell me how to vote. You're trying to tell me who to love and what to do. Like, you're not going to get far with that. And I just stopped going and I stopped bringing my kids. And I was like, we don't listen to that kind of shit. That's just garbage. Like, love is love to me. And I mean, obviously you don't want like an adult loving somebody who is a child. Obviously there's like boundaries within love, but the love they're talking about, that's
right.
It's none of your business who anybody sleeps with. And does it really affect you? Like if it's not affecting you in your life, then what does it matter to you? But the church thinks about money and they think about, they want you to have like 8 million kids and they want you to give 10% to them and, whatever the old tradition is. But
how about all the gay orgies that are going down in the Vatican as we speak?
Yeah,
like that's not a conspiracy. That's like a documented fact.
Thank you. Yeah, come on.
That's why
black robes and
that's why people
occult bullshit
try to get in there. That's where all the parties are.
Well, if they don't let me have cats, then
that's right. That's the deal breaker.
Well,
I'm fine with the gay orgies, not fine with not having a cat.
My mom wanted me to be a nun so bad. We have a few in the family, and she was always her hope for me. And I'm like, do you know me? Have you met me?
Maybe that's why she wanted you to be a nun.
Yeah, because she was like, there's
please
something wrong with you.
Yeah.
Hide her away. Stick her away. I would have been the best, like, little nun there ever
Probably
was.
you'd have committed.
I would have committed. Yeah, but I would have definitely broken my vows. I don't think I would have.
I mean, yeah,
they
can't
you live without. Who can live like that? Not me. Oh, gross.
I can do it. I was celibate for 7 years for like spiritual purposes.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
There were times in my marriage I was celibacy.
Yeah. I mean it does. Like anything else, it will help you, it's a discipline. I can't speak to the whole semen retention thing. Supposedly that gives you special powers. I just don't know. But
that's a thing? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a really big thing. There's a word for it. There's like there's special word, but I don't know. But I don't know about that. But I do know that obviously, just like anything else, sexual energy is creative energy, and you can consolidate that and channel it into other things if that's what you want to do. In the end, I decided it wasn't healthy, and like, I don't mean healthy, like for your health. I mean, like mentally, physically, emotionally, seemed like a cop out. Like, it was too easy for me to do. And I was like, I probably need to go in the other direction. I probably need to, what's the word? Not, I don't know what I'm trying to say, because it's not like a conversation I normally have. So I'm not sure how to explain it. But I don't know. I just felt like I was missing something, and that probably just wasn't the way to go. So then I jumped right out of that and started trying to have babies, basically, and that was a whole thing, you know, with all the miscarriages and stuff. But yeah, I've come to the conclusion that it's not good to, like I did when I was a vegan. I was a vegan during that period too. And I did it for the same reasons. I'm just trying to, it's basically austerity, is trying to further my spiritual development. And it's just, veganism is terrible. I mean, I could not have picked a worse thing to do, you know, like,
but you didn't know. I mean, you didn't know until you experienced.
Yeah, right. Like we didn't have, this was like, I mean, we had the internet, but man, Google was,
it was a huge movement. It really was. It was a huge movement. And I knew a lot of people who were doing it. And I was like, not me. I eat whatever I want. I just do whatever I want.
Well, you know what was crazy was I would have sabbaticals where on like certain like a couple times a year I would do like a religious festival where I would basically allow myself to eat meat. And after not having meat, oh my God, it's like you're drunk. You're like getting drunk on meat. And it was amazing. That should have been a sign like, hey, your body really likes this. You should eat more of this. But I just wasn't, you know, I just didn't understand at the time.
Well, and we weren't really educated either. You know, you had the food pyramid.
People are still pushing veganism and vegetarianism.
Yeah.
Which vegetarianism isn't quite as bad, but it's still not good.
Until they decide the plants have souls too, and you can't eat plants.
Well, they do.
Sustain yourself by just meditating and...
Some people do that.
Some people do.
Breatharians or something, where you just suck on the ether and you get all of your life force from that. And I'm sure somebody out there can actually do that. I'm sure it happens all the time. It's not me, and I don't care, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I've never tried.
I don't think I could power lift if I was a breatharian. I don't think that would work out so well.
I'm due for like a total cleanse, and I'm like, I don't have it in me. I don't have it in me to just drink water.
Wait till after the solstice.
Yeah. I've been actually just on a meat, just carnivore. My nails got stronger.
Oh yeah.
Oh God, what else? Like, I've had a lot of improvements. I found
everything gets better.
I was getting this chicken mix from the deli, and I found out they had wheat in it. Like they were using it to, like, why? Because I was like, every time I eat this, I get sick, I get puffy, and then I realized what it was.
It's filler.
Yeah.
Yeah. No deli. Yeah. You can't trust any of it.
I can't. No, I have to make everything myself. And that sucked because it really set me back. And if I F up when I eat anything that I shouldn't, it takes at least a full week to get back to normal. Yep. And like, I found out I can't even have like a lot of dried fruit, like cranberries.
I can't either.
Dried cranberries. I can't have them. I was like, these are like fruit snacks. And like, next thing you know, like my guts are like, no.
Can you eat like raw fruit?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, that's good.
Raisins are like, I can eat those, I think.
Iffy.
I don't know. I tried this week, so I'm already dealing with other problems. So I figure, this one's a problem.
Yeah.
And so just add more problems.
Pile them on.
Why not? It's just starving to death.
Mermaids Wear Hat says it's just social engineering, and yeah, like you said, Abby, they're all having orgies and hanging out on Grindr. Yeah,
hanging out on Grindr.
They are. They definitely are.
That's crazy.
Well, you know, when you're Catholic and you're not into ladies, you probably don't maybe even know. that you're maybe into dudes, right? Like, so you're just like,
Yeah.
well, I'm not really into women and I'm Catholic. So like, I guess I'm perfect for the priesthood. And then you get in there and you're like, the semen retention gets to you after God knows how many years or whatever, which I'm not buying it. I don't know that biologically how long people can go, but whatever. Then that's probably when you start to, you're eyeing up brother Sebastian or whatever. And you're like, wait a second, I think something's up here, literally. So that's probably how it works, like it just attracts more homosexual men, maybe in the Catholic, the Catholic space.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I read a lot of women would join the monastery, usually to escape like a terrible marriage or something like that. They were looked upon as like, oh, that's a holy, path versus I'm leaving my, husband who beats the shit out of me all the time to get away, like, because that's frowned upon, like, how dare you, break your covenant with your husband who does those things to you. That actually happened to my mom when she divorced my dad. He was very abusive. It was a very terrible situation. And they basically asked her not to get communion at the church anymore. And they were like, because she divorced him.
Well,
and I'm sure that's like Catholic rules or whatever.
Yeah, she can get an annulment though. And then it's like,
well, they were married for like 17 years.
They can still get you out of it if she'd have had to jump through a couple hoops, take a class or whatever.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal was, but
it's dumb. Anyways, I'm going to put it out there. If you're Catholic, I love
silly.
you. And I understand what's going, like, I get it. But at the same time, stop giving your power away to these fucking people who've never read the Bible, which is most of they cherry pick portions. They have never read that sucker all the way through, because most people who do, they don't stay Catholic anymore. Okay, Catholics don't read the Bible. They don't. It's not. You're never told to read the Bible. Only like theologians.
The priest reads it to you. Yeah,
he reads parts of it that he's trying to make a case for something. But a lot of times they don't read it either because it's a mess. It's a mess. There's a talking donkey and like. It's crazy. The actual Bible is out of control, you guys. Go read it. It's
talking donkey.
Yes.
There's that where the story Shrek came from.
There's like this one part where like the magical hand of God is actually writing stuff on the wall. Crazy stuff that you're like, okay, this is cartoonish. What is happening here? I thought this was like, the actual word of God. What's going on? And like, we can't deny, the parts where God is telling his chosen people to go like rape and pillage and take slaves. Like, no, come on, you guys. And again, the Bible has a lot of like great what are those called? Not morals. Oh, my brain, you guys know language.
What did I like the best? I think I liked the Psalms.
Parable.
Yeah.
Like there's good stuff in it, but there's also a bunch of messed up stuff. And it's like, that's fine if you want to, like, I like to think of Jesus as being, if he was real, which I don't know. It's definitely, if you look into it, very debatable, but let's just assume that he is. I would look at him like a great guru, right? Like somebody who has like all this good wisdom and knowledge and, somebody that you could try to emulate and be like, right? Like this great guy. But that's not what people are doing. People are saying that only this guy is suddenly God incarnate and the only God incarnate, like not you, not your dog, not your computer, like just this one guy. Even though that is specifically blasphemy and idolatry that goes against everything from the New Testament, everything completely against the New Testament. Then you add the Holy Spirit in, which now we have this concept of a triune God, which is nowhere, anywhere in the Old Testament is this acceptable. This is literally, they go on and on and on about how this is not allowed. So again, nobody who really reads and studies the Bible, like a lot of those people actually become atheists, which is unfortunate because now they've seen how ridiculous so much of this is that now they're just like, well, God just must not be real because this is absurd. So anybody out there, again, believe what you want to believe. I'm just saying, like, if you're a Christian, I think that it's incumbent upon you to read the Bible. I think that if that's your scripture, that's your foundational document. Like, why wouldn't you want to read it? Why wouldn't anybody, like,
it, like, don't go by
sense.
what other people are saying or what, the doom scrolling memes are saying, like, sometimes I feel like people get their education from Reddit, or it's like, what is this? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
It's a funny world.
Yes, human psychology is we're very complex creatures. Mermaids Wear Hat says parables. Yes, that was the one I was looking for, and I just couldn't think of it. Trish Farrell 78
Proverbs.
Says,
sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. Late to the party is the moon in Libra, Scorpio, or Ophiuchus. It is in Ophiuchus. So, somewhere right between Scorpio and like over the next day, it'll be moving into Sagittarius and stuff. Mermaids Wears Hat says, I love the Psalms and Proverbs, but the other stuff is nuts because there's no practical application, and then ding dongs take it as literal fact. Yeah, and they only take some of it as literal fact. Like, they only take the part about, like, gays are bad, but even though that's a different topic, and we could definitely go into that at some point. There's a lot of evidence that they were specifically talking about temple prostitutes and not laying with a man in relation to being a temple prostitute, but that, it's neither here nor there. But, like, in the same lines, it's like, you can't be uncircumcised. You can't eat pork. You can't eat any fish that doesn't have scales. You can't, like, there's certain things that you can eat because they're unclean, but then you can eat chicken, which is the most filthy, unclean animal that you can possibly get. Those things they will eat each other. They'll eat their own feces. Like, chickens are foul. I mean, they're great. They're tasty and stuff. But, like, this is not a logical document. Like, if God's telling you this stuff, like, like a shark is definitely just a fish because you can't eat a shark because it's a fish that doesn't have scales. You can't eat meat with dairy because it comes from the same animal. So, no cheeseburgers, no bacon cheeseburgers. And I just,
Oh my God.
Yeah, like,
don't mix your fabrics. Don't mix your fabrics. I remember that.
Yes, don't touch your wife if she's menstruating. And if she is menstruating, then she's done. She's got to go, wash her, go clean herself up because, blood is unclean. But these things are just, there's not, like, God doesn't list them out in the Bible and say, like, this one's more important than this one. It's just like, no, these are the rules. These are my rules. And if you break them, you're done. Like, you're breaking my covenant. So that means that the bacon's just as important as the gay. Okay. Like, how come we're not beating that dead horse?
So important. Okay. Well, they act like being gay just was invented 2,000 freaking years ago. People have been doing whatever they wanted and loving who they've wanted since the last time we were destroyed, by God, because he loves us. Like, that's the story. Right. I love you so much. I had to just fucking kill you all. And
I had to wipe you all out.
Maybe we were just too noisy. Was it
I think that's a far more likely explanation.
Just annoying and noisy. That's all.
Mermaids Wear Hat says you don't see them wearing sackcloth like they're supposed to. That's right. Why does nobody bring this up? Nobody brings it up. I mean, Jewish people do, like, they do. Some of them, religious Jews do. The other ones not so much. Chat with Lorna says parables depends on who channeled information. Different people interpret their inspiration through their own lens. Yeah, and that's another thing too. Like, a lot of the Bible is it's speculative. Like, there's different interpretations. There's been whole other books that are just about commentary, on what's really going on in these different sections. I think it's definitely an interesting topic. I don't know how we got on it. Probably we were talking about cult and going to church.
I don't know. I just think of Joel Osteen. I'm like, dude's got, like, $2,000-$3,000 leather Italian shoes. He's got private jets.
Rolex. Yeah, like,
and he's he runs a non-profit church, you guys. Okay, this guy is the real deal. Apparently,
God wants him to be mega rich. I don't know what to tell you, Niki.
Yeah, his followers are just insane. I'm like, wow, this is crazy.
I can't even imagine.
You would love this person so much that you're just giving all of your, like 10+% of what you make so that he can fly around and do all the opposite things that the Bible says. Like, okay, all right. Like, I see
can't
where we're at.
Put myself in a position to like even imagine what that would be like to have all that money, even a fraction of it, and like not just want to give people running water somewhere or like build a school.
He's got enough money to
I just don't understand
fix the Flint, Michigan water problem. Does he? He's got enough money to wipe out all of the student lunch debt for kids. So they can eat. But does he? Oh no. He might help a few little people here and there. You'll never see it. You'll never know. You know, it's like
it'd be interesting. I wonder what he does donate to and give.
Probably not what he does donate. I don't think he donates enough. If you're a man of God and you have enough money to fly in a private jet somewhere all the time, whenever you want, you're wearing like $3,000 shoes plus, you know, like you're like, that is a fake. That is a phony. That is not a man of God, right there.
Yeah,
that's a man of the material world.
That's Sadhguru.
Loves material shit.
Yeah, he's American Sadhguru, basically.
Yeah. It's
not just Sadhguru. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of those in India. I'm skeptical of all those people. Not that I don't want people to have private jets and yachts or what. I like good for them. But at the same time, I personally can't imagine doing that when like there's just.
Well, like, I wonder, like, who do you represent then? If you represent God, yet you're at the top of this like effed up pyramid scheme, like it's kind of, I don't know. Yeah. It just screams fraud to me.
Well, he's got some God. There's some kind. I don't know. He's some version, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I guess. I don't know. It came up because Jupiter is squared the nodes right now. What do you believe in? What's your spiritual path? You know, we're talking about, you know, we had that North Node moving through Pisces, and that entire time we were going through a spiritual journey. You know, some of us are just going through it, you know, and we're hitting the end and we're moving into Aquarius, where all of those ideas that we gathered, all of that, you know, the emotional tests that we've had and all the soul growth has led us into like this new spiritual state of being. And I think a lot more people are open to calling, you know, spirituality, that how we know it, out for what it really is. You know, is it compassionate? Does it include all of humanity? You know, these are things that we have to ask ourselves, because I mean, what's going on collectively? We can't heal ourselves individually when the collective is just totally out of whack. I mean, the environment is everything to somebody who, you know, is dealing with something internal and crazy. So when we have systems and structures set up to always, you know, put up a brick wall against healing, so you're constantly in this loop of having to, you know, deal with issues that you just shouldn't have to deal with, you know, like it should be easier to have access to holistic doctors. You know, insurance companies don't allow that, you know, and if you want to see a holistic doctor in my town, you have to make 6 figures. You know, you have to have money. They don't want to see you if you don't. So I mean, it's just, I'm hoping that, you know, with the North Node moving through Aquarius, like I know things aren't going to, it might get ugly, but I'm hoping that it'll change. I think things will change for the better, and more people are waking up to the fact that these resources aren't available to everybody. There are practical, holistic, natural ways to heal that we've been convinced don't work, that the only way that we can heal is if we take this pill, if we do what we're told, if we go to work every day and work our, 40, 60 hours a week, because that's how we're supposed to feel fulfilled. That's how your soul feels like it has purpose, is that you're working yourself to death.
That's how they would want you as a slave to feel.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Oh, that's what they told them in the concentration camps too. Like, no, work will set you free. This is your liberation. Go and just work. You'll feel good about it.
Yeah. So we're at that karmic crossroads where people are going to start thinking, hey, this isn't working. Hey, I'm mad. And I'm angry because this is the path I was told to take and now it's not working. Or, like they're just totally oblivious and unaware as to what it is that they're supposed to be doing for their life path, and some people are just going to continue to embrace chaos and crisis and never make a change in their life, because why would they? Everything's comfortable. I'm so comfortable here.
Yeah, if people don't know what if you don't know your purpose, you definitely need an astrology reading. Like a natal reading will definitely help you with that. Okay, Trish is asking about the what time is the full moon coming up? What constellations that actually ends? So hold on. Wait, stop. Nope. I can do it. Hold on, you guys. I can definitely do it. I want
I'll be right back. Hold on.
Okay. 6/12. All right. So this is yesterday. I don't know. This is Connecticut for sure. Stand by. Which way's east? Now I can't tell. Right there. Okay. So it's should be coming up in the southeast, right around. It's looking like right over, because this is our major lunar standstill. So it's going to be, I don't know if this is the exact time it says it is. So we're going to assume today. And it looks like it's right. Well, technically it's already in, whoops. Yeah, it's already in Sagittarius. But I mean, this whole portion is kind of just galactic center energy anyway. So yes, you can't wear clothes made of 2 different threads. That's right. All kinds of stuff that they just neglect. And this is why I'm not allowed to debate anybody. They won't invite me onto their shows, which is fine because I'd probably be tired and not very smart at the same time. Yeah. See, I think now, Niki, not to talk smack about her predictions for the full moon, but I definitely take a slightly more positive approach. So I like the full moon over here in basically conjunct with the galactic center. I think that it pulls out intuition. It allows us to move more freely through our lives and through the day. I know she was pulling from other stuff too. She wasn't just talking about the moon or anything. But I really think that this can open up the crown chakra. Any meditation you do during this time, any spiritual work, generally speaking, like getting rid of the multi-threaded clothes that you're wearing or something like that, I think is going to be benefited. And then as it starts to move into Sagittarius, this is a great time for effort and work. And I'm hoping I'm going to pull some of that tomorrow when I'm deadlifting. So that's my goal, because the deadlifting is like the whole goal for tomorrow. So is everything okay over there? Crisis averted?
Oh my God. Yes, I'm overly caffeinated. I just had to take a break. I was like, I'm trying to hold off for like 10 minutes. And I'm like, dude, I'm going to die.
Like, no, it's not going to work.
Not going to happen.
Yeah.
Been drinking so much coffee. I love coffee. Yes.
I'm terrified to ever drink it again. I don't know that I can. I'm already drinking caffeine again. Like I don't have, I started drinking black tea just here and there, but I'm a legitimate drug addict. And apparently I can't just have one cup of tea. I have to have tea all day long. So it is delicious though. I think that's part of the issue, is it really does taste good.
Yeah.
So, but I do not trust myself to even put coffee in my mouth. I could probably smoke crack and, snort some Coke. I don't trust myself to put, coffee anywhere near my nose, my mouth. Like, no, it's not in the house and it's not allowed to be in the house. Chat with Mary Mystic Lorna says exactly what I was referring to. Bible compilation of, oh yeah, I read that one, I think. Oh, wait, maybe not. Inspiration writings, then interpreted into different languages and cultures. Trish says, that's very Marduk of God. Yeah, exactly. Talking about human cleansing when they disobey. Yep, that's right. That's right. Lorna says, last 2 months have had major challenges with anything online, just surrender. Did it get better, Lorna? Like, since you let go and quit maybe trying so hard and maybe got a new phone or something? Hopefully it's been better.
Oh my gosh, your electronic problems were just insane. It was true insanity. But it was her whole area where she was living, I think. That's what she had said. I started having issues with my phone and tech and everything the last few days, but I can't really contribute it to anything. I don't really know what it is. I'm like, oh, was it?
Are you watching your own transits?
No, actually, I haven't had time. I haven't had time to look at any of my own stuff. I look at it like maybe once a week, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, I definitely don't have time.
I haven't had time to look at anything.
Lorna says, feeling like good change is happening right now, even though watching drama all around. Yeah, there is drama all around for sure. But as long as good stuff's happening to you, let's keep that going.
There is good changes happening, actually. I'm experiencing a lot of really positive changes, a lot of positive stuff. But change is hard, and it's, uncomfortable, and, that's just the way it is.
Yep. It's a process.
It is. It's a process. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, happy full moon, everyone. Thanks for being with us today, Trish and Lorna and Mermaids Wear Hats. And also we have whoever, Sidereal Astrology. I know it probably doesn't have a Russian accent, but so happy every strawberry moon. Is that what they're calling it, I guess? So that's very cool. I hope this full moon brings you everything that your heart desires.
Yeah, me too. Me too. I hope it's amazing.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll be back next week. If you haven't already, definitely register for the Sidereal Astrology Conference, the first annual, first ever, the only one on planet Earth. Okay. Definitely register for this thing. The link is in the description, or go to our website, Sumerian. Nope, not that one. I'm just used to rattling it off. Sidereal International. At .org or .com or .net. They're all going to take you to the same place right on the homepage. Hey, Chrissy's Country Kitchen / readings by Chrissy. Peace. Yes. Hopefully you didn't hear that stuff that I was talking about you earlier. Don't rewatch it. Don't rewatch it. Right.
I don't think anybody I know watches the show.
Sometimes it's better. I think it is better.
Yeah, because I never know what I'm going to say.
Right. It's a mixed bag. We never know what's going to come out. So, all right, we'll be back same time next week. In the meantime, take very good care of yourselves, and we'll see you then.